5 common SEO mistakes we often see as a Webflow agency, mistakes that can cost you rankings but are easy to fix. As a Webflow agency, we see the same technical SEO mistakes over and over again, and these mistakes can significantly hurt your rankings. So in this video, I will show you what to avoid and why they can harm your SEO. So let's go. So mistake number 1, a missing or an outdated sitemap. So a lot of the times we see as a Webflow agency that a lot of the Webflow websites that are being built, that they don't even have one sitemap, or it's maybe outdated, or it's maybe used by the templates they use to build the website itself. So just to be showing you that this website is built in Webflow, as you can see here very easily. Of course, the badge is here, but I'm really recommending this extension to easily and fast see what website is built in. But if we go to the sitemap, which is the domain itself, and then /sitemap.xml, we could easily see here, which the link I've prepared, that there is a product link leading to this page. And to give you some background to it, the company itself it's not an e-commerce to do something totally different, but this is probably a template used by the developer. And as you can see, it's just lorem ipsum being used on the place. And this is something that is being shown in the SERP for Google. So somebody can find this going from Google, which is not good for the brand itself, of course. And for the users going to this link, they will be entering, then leaving. So the bounce rate is probably high for this page. So once again, just like a recap, that when using maybe a template for the website, be careful to update the sitemap. If you add new pages to a website, always be updating the sitemap and submitting it to Google Search Console so it's indexing faster. And lastly, you don't have to add let's say unnecessary pages, as the cookie policy and privacy policy in the sitemap just be showing the most important page on the sitemap. So that's the main thing about the sitemap, just be showing or helping Google to show the most important pages of a website. So this was mistake number 1 we often see. Mistake number 2, incorrect or missing canonical tags. So we often see a lot of Webflow websites doesn't contain a global canonical tags or on a page level. So basically a canonical tag tells Google which URL is the primary version of a page. So if it's missing or incorrect, Google index multiple versions of the same content, which leads to duplicate content and in the end poor SEO. So let's say, for example, you have a blog or a shop. In the blog probably have a pagination, or in the shop a lot of filters. So in the query parameters in the URL, so to say, you will have or the page number 2. So it's very important that you define which of the should be the primary, since the content probably will be very similar. So it's very important that you define it. So by using correct canonical tags, you ensure that Google indexes the most relevant version of your page, improving your SEO, so to say. Just to be showing in the Meta SEO Inspector, you could easily be seeing it that the canonical tag is not defined for this page. And global canonical tags is very easy to implement on Webflow. Basically, you just need to know if it should be with or without www. That's the most important when doing it on a global level. So yeah, that was issue number 2, or mistake number 2. So mistake number 3, an incorrect implementation of localizations, meaning a lot of Webflow websites being multilingual together with tools as Wiglot for the function itself, not properly implemented by my experience, so to say. So the website have href tags, but they haven't been implemented the subcategories. So for example, let's say here, when switching or toggling between the languages, the content itself is changing, but the URL is staying the same, which is making it much harder for Google to index the content itself, which means in the end what will be showing in the SERP. So it's very important that you set it for the subcategory in the URL itself. Secondly, it's much more harder to do the tracking for the person, setting up if you don't have a difference in the URL, but if the content is dynamically changed. Thirdly, you can't do like localized URLs, meaning let's say goodguys.se/webflowutveckling in Swedish. In English, it should be goodguys.se/en/webflow development. So that's something you're missing out when not implementing it properly. So my recommendation is really that you use natively Webflow's localization, because it's the best for SEO and it's more convenient, specifically for the CMS and etc. So that's something we have to see with the third-party tools being used with Webflow regarding multilingual websites. So that was mistake number 3. Mistake number 4, poor heading structure. We all know that you can build very beautiful and cool websites in Webflow with a lot of animations, but something as we see as an agency is that the heading structure, or the most basic SEO thing, is that the heading structure is not good enough. The H1 is maybe missing, or the H1 is jumping from H1 to H4 directly, or maybe the heading is empty but still being there as a tag. So that is something we often see. And in this example, we can see here in Meta SEO Inspector that we have missing H1, which is not good. The H1 should always contain the keywords, of course, to be ranking higher on, which will help you rank higher on Google. So it's very important. This is very basic stuff, and you should always be checking it after publishing a page that the heading structure is good, that the flow is good. So it's going from H1, H2, H3, maybe beginning again from to H2 to H3 again, but never jumping over one of the steps. So basically, like a recap is that Google or the bots will having it much easier to understand the content if you have like a good structure on the heading. So that was mistakes number 4. Mistake number 5, using link blocks instead of paragraph tags. So we often see, particularly on websites we need to SEO optimize, is that the content itself is inside of link blocks instead of paragraph tags. So Google, particularly the bots, doesn't understand the context or the text itself when it's inside link blocks as good as if it would be in paragraph tags. So link blocks should more be used for navigational purposes, for example, for bottoms, and paragraph tags should be more used if you, of course, want Google to understand your content better and to rank high on Google. So the conclusion is, if you want Google to understand your page better and use paragraph tags. If link blocks, use it for more navigational purposes. So this was mistake number 5 we often see. All right, so these were the 5 technical SEO mistakes in Webflow that we often encounter as an agency. And yeah, hopefully I helped you how to avoid them and fix them. So by fixing these mistakes, you can give your website a better chance to rank high on Google and create a better experience for your users. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or thoughts or comments, maybe give me some feedback, feel free to leave a comment below. And yeah, see you in the next video. Ciao.